time for another hand shave. This is actually from April 3rd, I'm realizing, was 10 days ago, but I never posted it. This is me shaving my dominant hand. Lots of questions always asking whether it's harder to shave my dominant hand using my non-dominant hand. Frankly, no. Once upon a time it was. I remember learning to do this, and my poor dominant hand was always a bit butchered because my left hand was so inexperienced. But I've been shaving since I was a teenager, and I'm in my mid to late 30s now. I'm 37. So I have a lot of experience, and it's just no problem. I did spray with the Footlogix callus softener again before shaving, and I will be using that indefinitely. That product is phenomenal. I did have that other conversation with their lead podologist again. She is such a smart and wonderful woman. Really helped me understand how their products work and why. So they do contain urea, but unlike creams, which I have told you before, I hate urea creams, they have a different method of delivering the urea. So their products actually are able to have a really low concentration of urea, but it penetrates the skin deeply. And the difference between like a callus remover gel, which you may want to use on your feet if you have calluses on top of normal skin, it works great because callus remover gel will break down all the structure of the skin and sort of turn it to mush. And then you can just scrape it off. So if you just have regular thick calluses on your feet or hands, callus remover gel will do the job really quickly. However, I don't have calluses sitting on top of normal skin. My normal skin, my epidermis in the stratum corneum layer, which is the outermost layer of the skin, is this keratinized callus. My skin is this way all the way through to the next layer of skin. So if I were to use a callus remover gel, my skin would come off, and my entire hand, if I were to use it on my hand, would be raw and extremely sore, like the underside of a blister when all the skin came off. And so that sort of product just really doesn't work for me. I want to show you how paper thin this skin is. Look at that. You can see right through it. So when people ask, doesn't that hurt? Aren't you going too deep? Aren't you afraid you're going to go too deep? No, I have so much control. I'm able to take off these paper thin pieces. And you might see me go over a spot repeatedly. In fact, I got a comment the other day saying, like, every time I think you're done, you go over the same place again 10 more times. And it's true. Because I'm taking off these super thin layers. Look at that. You can see right through it. I'm able to take off layer after layer after layer until it feels right. Anyway, back to the Footlogix callus softener. They have a delivery system for urea, which makes the urea penetrate the skin very deeply. It brings a moisturization and a flexibility and softness to my hands that, frankly, I have never felt before with any sort of moisturizer. And what urea does is it attracts moisture and holds on to it. So it takes water into your hand or into your thick, heavy skin, and it keeps it there. It's an amazing feeling. So the callus softener works really great for me. I am using the professional grade callus softener, which you just can't go and buy. You have to actually have a license as an esthetician or a manicurist or something in order to buy it. But they do have a retail version, which is slightly less potent for the average everyday user. The reason that they sent me the professional grade one is because with this condition, you really need that heavier concentration, but most people don't. Everyone gets really worried when I come up to the edges of my hands. But actually this blade, contrary to how well it grabs onto and slices off the keratoderma skin, it does not grab onto the normal skin very well. So if you have it at the wrong angle, or if you're using way too much force, sure, you can cut yourself anywhere with this thing. But because I'm keeping the head of the shaver very, very close to parallel to my skin, it's hard to tell here where I'm doing my thumb on these curves, but like when I'm doing the flat surface, you'll see that the top of the shaver is almost right up against my skin. The blade is not angled downward, and so unless it has something to catch onto, it really won't cut anything. And that's how I can go along the edges, and it it's not even something I'm afraid of. It really won't cut the normal skin. It will only start catching and slicing when it hits the calloused skin. Something else I want to mention is that I used, and I have it in this video, but I will make a video about it specifically. I used the Footlogix deep hydrating mousse. It's kind of like a foam spray. It looks like shaving cream. But I have to say, I put that on my hands just as an experiment. And it hydrated them so deeply and so well that I didn't have to lotion my hands for like 3 hours afterward. And this might not have the profound impact I wish it would, but you got to realize that I usually lotion my hands every 15 minutes to half an hour, all day long. Like anytime they just feel slightly stiff or dry or hard, I just put on a little bit more lotion and it soaks it up. And after like several applications of lotion, it starts to kind of get goopy, like it's built up, and I'll wash my hands and it kind of all washes off and I start over. But when I put this what is it called? The dry skin hydrating mousse on my hands, I actually forgot I even needed lotion for several hours. And a few hours later, I went, oh my God, like it wasn't even in my mind. And then I realized, oh my God, I haven't even felt like I needed lotion for a few hours. So I'm going to make another video all about that. There's just not much to show. There's just a lot to say because my hands look the same, but they feel remarkably different. So I am astounded. Something else that that podologist explained to me was that when you put urea in a cream, you have to use other things like petroleum-based oils, paraffin, other waxes or oils to hold on to that urea and keep it in the cream form so it doesn't like separate and become all liquidy or, gross looking. To keep it as a cream, you have to put these agents like Vaseline sort of in the creams. Unfortunately, petroleum-based jellies are occlusive. They actually prevent the urea from going into your skin because the urea has to penetrate through the petroleum first. And so they have to then put these heavy concentrations of urea in the cream in order for it to penetrate not only the cream itself, but then get into your skin. And they can feel very sticky and goopy and be very stinky. In contrast to that, the Footlogix products deliver the urea through some proprietary technology using water as their base. And they're not sticky or goopy or stinky. I freaking love it. Oh, they feel great.